We're doing right, that's right. Won't you take a little ride on down to the hunting grounds?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. You guys have been asking me about the water troughs that I put on my property a year ago, and so on this vlog I'm going to update you on our 3 different locations, show you the location and how it's doing, and I've put up spy point cameras on every single location. And if I did my job right before I got out of here and went on vacation in Estes, Colorado, and I set up the trail cameras and I put them on video mode, if I did that all right and I didn't rush through it and put it on photo mode or something else, or forget to turn it on, we should have some really cool videos showing you hopefully some interaction with wildlife and deer on these water holes. And now, because I am still filming and dealing with lighting issues right now in this food plot because it's getting close to dark, I can't really set this camera up where I can see myself and the water hole. But right here behind me, you can see the water trough. This is located right here in the Candy Shop food plot. You guys saw us a year and a half ago or so come into this standing, huge timbered ridge, came in with bulldozers, cleared it out, and as you can tell back behind me, it's a very, very lush food plot filled with clover right now. It's a very rocky area, and we won't talk too much about the food plot because I've talked about that in other vlogs, and we'll do some more updates later in the summer and talk about more about the food plot. But the way we've got this set up, we've got the redneck blind, probably only about 45 yards, maybe 40 yards from this water hole. All these water holes that you're seeing are gravity filled water holes. So the way I've designed them, I dug out these holes and placed them in where just natural rainwater on these slopes here on our property will gravitate down and they'll fill up these water troughs. So I don't have to come out here with a water tank and fill them up all the time. Now I also made sure the locations that I put them in that was possible to do so. So in case these were dry and we just never got any rain to fill them back up, I wanted to be able to get the truck, get the water tank, and be able to come in here and fill these up. This one's done exceptionally well. We have seen a lot of deer activity around it. You get a lot of coons around it and coyotes and just about everything, hawks and squirrels. Not really knowing what I'm going to be seeing on this trail camera, but I'll start showing you guys that. But overall, there's just really no water source really close to this food plot. And if I can make food, shelter, and water available for deer in a certain area, I'm going to do that as many times as I can on my property. It just makes it where you're able to hold a lot more deer, because I've seen it before. Before I put any standing water sources on this property, during the hot parts of the summer and even going into the fall, if we're in drought-like conditions, my deer were finding water sources and those were off my property, and I saw the deer activity, I saw the deer numbers drop drastically just because they were traveling to other properties. So I've solved that problem. Now we've got our wet springs. We've had a really wet spring and a wet summer so far, and so these springs are running on my property down in the bottoms, and then I've also got these water sources here. So it's going to be interesting to see how much the deer are using this right now, because we're just now really starting to dry out here in the southwest corner of Missouri. So we'll see, but this is a great spot. It's got great opportunity if a deer comes in to take a drink of this, to get it right there from the redneck blind. Like I said, it's got everything that a deer wants right here in this food plot, and it's worked really, really well. I've not seen this one run dry, and now I'm going to go show you our largest one, and then we'll go to Rebel Hill and show you one there that gets the most activity of them all. Alright guys, so we're here at the largest water tank here on the property. This is a 625 gallon Mega Daddy water tank. As you can tell, it's actually placed in this area where probably back in the 70s someone had dug a pond in here. Who knows if it's ever held water, because our soil is so rocky here. And let's be honest, I could have come in and spent thousands of dollars and redug this pond and rebuilt it, and maybe even brought in bentonite, and who knows if I would have even gotten it to hold water like I wanted to. So I wanted a guarantee, so I went to Tractor Supply, picked up this 8-foot by 2-foot water tank here, dug it into this hillside. It's right here in the redneck food plot. As you can see, it's got a really nice big slope that gravity feeds right down to it. Again, there's another redneck blind here in the background. We got tree stands strategically around this food plot, and once again we have food, water, and tons of cover, especially back in the edgings that I've made in this on these fields and on these hillsides where I've done select cuts and done prescribed burning. So once again, we've created that area that deer want to stay in and concentrate in. So we've got 3 of those areas, essentially really 4 of them. This one is holding really well. I actually came in last year and buried this, even put some sticks around the other side, because the way I've built this one, the tank in the candy shop plot's a 100-gallon tank. This one's a 625-gallon. The one that's in Rebel Hill is a 50-gallon. And those 50-gallon and 100-gallon, they fluctuate enough that I never really need to drain it or anything there. It kind of gets pretty low and refills itself up. This one I've got the availability on the back side to drain it out if I want to. I have done it in the past, but this one I built a little differently. Instead of just being perfectly level on all sides with the ground, because it is so large, I want a deer to be able to approach it from the top side and be able to get down and get a drink. And on the other side, I've got it where the deer can walk right up to it and almost be at chest level and easily bend down to get a drink. So I got a couple different ways to approach this water tank. Not really sure which one's the favorite, and we'll have to look at the videos there on the spy point, but this one is used really regularly. You'll also notice in these water troughs, I've gone in with a log and I've put a log in there. I've cut a notch in that log so it does hold it up on the side. Anything that falls in there is able to hopefully climb onto that and climb out. I've seen coons get on it and actually climb down and fish for frogs and tadpoles and everything else. And apparently we've had something here recently because Journey is smelling something in the background. But what a great spot. This one is probably one of the more used ones. The one on Rebel Hill is used definitely more, but this one was central in the middle of my property. That's where I wanted to put the biggest water tank period, and it kind of was a better accommodation for it in the area that I was building here. So 625 gallons, that almost always stays full. It's not going to seep into the ground or anything else. If I was going to come in here with a bulldozer and work it, who knows if it would have drained out or anything else. But this way, I'm pretty much guaranteed that it's going to catch every bit of water that drains into it, and it's going to hold it. And there's going to be evaporation, but the deer and the coyotes and the turkey and coons and everything else are going to be able to enjoy it because it's going to stick around long enough for them to use it. Here we are, guys, at the last, but by far not the least water hole on the property. This is out here on Rebel Hill, and it's probably the most hit water source on this property. It's a smaller tank. It's only about a 50-gallon tank right here. I've got the spy point backed up behind it, kind of about 6 foot up a tree looking down to get a unique angle. So hopefully we've got some cool videos to show you of deer interacting here. Smack dab in the middle of this little bitty kind of kill plot out here on Rebel Hill. You can tell it's lush with clover right now. We've got a soft-sided redneck right there behind it. We've got a lot of hinge cutting and prescribed burning all the way around this food plot. Up here on top is the Savannah project I'm currently working on, and hopefully in the next week and a half we'll have pretty much wrapped up. But if there's a spot that the deer are going to congregate, it's right here. It's mainly does, but this water source and food plot are hit extremely hard. But I have seen the deer drink this down all the way when we still had plenty of water in the other troughs on this property. It's just because they hit on it that much. During the deer season, the does are congregating here. Like I said, we don't get a whole lot of bucks using this area, but hopefully with the hinge cutting and all the native browse and bedding and everything coming around this food plot that we've established over the last year, that will change. But we've had primarily does using this, a lot of fawns using it. We'll have herds of 10 does come in here literally and gather around this water trough. So it does empty out pretty quick, but it definitely refills itself. Again, it's gravity fed. Everything that's caught up here fills it up, and it doesn't have to be a big rain to fill these tanks up. I've put them on the best areas in these food plots where just a little bit of rain with a little bit of runoff is going to fill this up almost all the way every single time. And then once again, to put it inside of bow range, it's only about 20 yards from the redneck there. Why not? If you're going to give yourself extra benefit of getting that deer a little bit closer, it's not guaranteed that every deer coming in this food plot is going to drink from this water trough. It's just not going to happen. They get a lot of their water needs from the plants that they browse on. But if you can have water here, they are going to use it, especially in those dry months. And if the dry spell hits during deer season, I can promise you the deer are going to leave and go where the water sources are. And hopefully that's not off your property. But even though they get the majority of their water that they need from their browsing, it's still nice to have this here. This is the third main water source on this property as far as the tanks go. I do have a pond in front of my house that we're still working on, but it is holding water. And then towards the back of the property, we had an old pond back there that just never held water, but we're starting to work on it, and it's holding a decent amount of water, but you just can't depend on it because it does seep out really quick there. But we've had a wet spring and a wet summer so far, and so it's holding water. But these three troughs are all placed in different areas, but I will tell you one thing they do have in common is they do have the food and the water and the shelter, and I can tell you it holds the deer. We've put this strategically. This is on the south end of the property. That big 625-gallon tank is right in the middle of my property, and then the other 50-gallon tank is more on the north end of the property. So if you were to kind of put 3 circles on all my property that contained food, water, shelter, food, water, shelter, and food, water, and shelter, you would cover my entire property. Just make sure that we're going to hold a lot more deer on this property. So hopefully this gave you guys some ideas. It does not take much work. This one was pretty much hand dug. We got in, I think, scooped it once with the tractor, but we primarily had to hand dig this one. The other ones we did use some heavy equipment to get in and dig them out just because it was that much quicker. But if you aren't using a 625-gallon tank, you can dig this by hand and install these. And you can see in this one we've actually got a stump in it versus a log, so anything that falls in can climb on that stump and get out. We've not had really much of anything fall into these and die that I even know of. I don't know if we've had anything. But anyway, I hope this gives you guys some ideas. These setups really do make a very big difference. Just ask my dad, who spent a lot of time right there in that redneck, who saw tons of deer during deer season come in and hit on this water source. But like I said, hopefully this gives you guys some ideas on your own hunting grounds, and it's easy to do. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. If you guys would, if you did water sources on your property similar to these or different and you have your own tips, comment down below. Comment down below what else you want to see in our vlog series. I've got a whole list and I'm ready to add to that list and start knocking them out for you guys. Do me a favor and give a big thumbs up, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single one of these vlogs, because we're cranking them out left and right, and I'm on fire right now, and I am ready to get a lot more out there to you guys here in the month of July. So guys, until next time, have a better than average day.